Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Rai and I'm here with Dr. Vanessa Lapointe, registered psychologist, founder of Wishing Star Lapointe Developmental Clinics, and national best-selling author of Discipline Without Damage, How to Get Your Kids to Behave Without Messing Up. So before we get into it and to the questions, I'd like Dr. Lapointe to tell us a little bit about herself.
Yeah, so I'm a registered psychologist. I'm also a mom to 2 growing boys, and I work alongside my team in supporting kids and parents through the whole crazy process of growing up. And so sometimes that means that kids develop behavioral challenges, sometimes it means anxiety, sometimes it means difficulty being at school, and sometimes it just means trying to find your way as a parent. So that's what we do.
Awesome. In our office, one of the biggest questions we get is, how do I know if my child needs to see a psychologist? What are some things that I should be looking out for? What would you say to that parent?
Yeah, and so we get that question all the time. And my answer is always that it has to do with functionality. And so if every day, whatever it is that's happening is getting in the way of that child being a child, and of your family being a family, and of life rolling out like it's supposed to roll out so that kids get to grow in the way that nature intended. If whatever it is that's happening, be it behavioral stuff, be it anxiety, be it sleep interruptions, whatever it is, if that's getting in the way of normal life, to the extent that you're no longer living a functional, typical life on a day-to-day basis, then it's time to come in.
Excellent advice. That's the number one question we get. What is the number one question you get?
I'm going to tell you the number one question I get. The question always begins like this. What do I do when? And then you fill in the blank. Like, what do I do when my kid won't do what I say? What do I do when my kid won't go to bed and it's bedtime? What do I do when my kid talks back to me? What do I do when my kid isn't motivated about school? What do I do when my kid keeps hitting their brother? Like, what do I do, what do I do, what do I do? And here's my answer to that, because I have an answer.
Throw it out.
It's pretty incredible. My answer is that the problem is in how the question is being asked, and if we ask a different question, then we get to where we need to be. Because I had 13 years of post-secondary education, and I've been working alongside families for getting closer to 20 years now. And if you come to me and say, what do I do when? I'm going to tell you I have no idea. And that'll be a couple $100. Good luck. Nice. And the reason is because I don't know your kid. And I don't know your family, and I wasn't sitting at your dinner table last night when you got a little chirpy at your husband, and I don't know that the family dog died 2 months ago, and I don't know that your kid hates their teacher. Like, I don't know anything about your life. So who am I to tell you what to do with your child? Here's the thing. If you can change the question to, how should I be when? How should I be when my child is losing their ever-loving mind? How should I be when my child is devastated that nobody at school likes them? If you can go in behind all of the crusty facade of behavior and all the things your child's presenting with, if you can get behind that into the feeling of the child and really feel for them what's going on, what it does is that it awakens in you your own emotion, your own empathy, your own humanity, and you will then not be able to help yourself, but then emerge out of that into being what your child needs to have you be. So the doing flows from the being. Don't ask the question, what do I do? The question is, how do I be?
Wow. Solid.
Thanks.
Last question.
Yeah.
How do you know when a parent, or what do you say to a parent when they say, does my child need a psychologist, or do I need a psychologist?
My default on that has really shifted from when I was a brand new psychologist to present day. And the reality is that if you bring your child into this office, they'll be seen for an hour out of the week, or an hour out of every 2 weeks, or whatever it is, and then they go back to their 24/7 life with you. And so, while there are certain ages and stages where it can be really powerful to work directly with a child, and in fact, certain situations where it's very powerful to work directly with a child, in a lot of cases, it also requires a lot of parent work, and in some cases, it's entirely parent work. And it's not because the parent has messed it up and created this problem that it is their child or the behavior or whatever the circumstance is, but rather that the parent is the answer they're the person who's positioned optimally to really come alongside and provide what the child needs 24/7. That parent is going to be the answer to that child's needs. And I love this quote from a very well-known author and parenting educator and psychiatrist in the US, Dr. Daniel Siegel, who said, "The environment creates the mind, and then the mind creates the environment." And so as parents, we are creating the environment that is literally growing our children's minds, and then they grow up to become adults and maybe even parents, and those minds then create the next environment for that next generation. And so how impactful parents can be and how important it is to do work around that environmental piece, and that's why working with parents can be such a powerful thing.
Great advice. Thank you so much.
Perfect.
Really appreciate your time today, Dr. Lapointe. Like I had mentioned, Wishing Star Lapointe Developmental Clinic, and I cannot recommend this book enough, Discipline Without Damage. Go pick it up, national bestseller. You can grab it on Amazon, and I'm sure pretty much every bookstore out there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.